Good people, I am William Shakespeare, author of Hamlet, Macbeth, and several thousand pages proving that communication problems can ruin lives. Today I review Off Campus. At first I believed this was a show about education. I was wrong. This series contains less studying than Romeo and Juliet contains emotional maturity. In my day, a man would write poetry to win a woman's heart. Today, he sends a text. You up? Humanity has evolved backwards. Yet somehow this show is more addictive than TikTok at 2 a.m. It is a world filled with hockey players, emotional damage, and enough romantic tension to power New York City. So silence thy situationship, and let us examine Off Campus. So what is the plot of Off Campus? Well, dear viewers, imagine if Jane Austen abandoned manners, F. Scott Fitzgerald abandoned subtlety, and Netflix abandoned parental supervision. Our tale begins with Hannah, a brilliant student whose academic performance is stronger than the Wi-Fi at Starbucks. Meanwhile, Garrett Graham is a hockey star, the kind of man who has never opened a textbook voluntarily, yet somehow walks through life like a golden retriever sponsored by Nike. Now Garrett has a problem. His grades are collapsing faster than a celebrity cryptocurrency after a tweet from Elon Musk. And Hannah possesses the one thing he desperately needs: good grades. Before long, Garrett proposes a deal. Not marriage, not friendship, a tutoring arrangement. Though, as every reader of literature knows, whenever a handsome athlete asks a woman for academic assistance, disaster is usually only 3 chapters away. In Romeo and Juliet, they fell in love through poetry. In Off Campus, they fall in love through homework. Truly, the standards of civilization have declined. What follows is a campaign of flirting so relentless that even Don Juan would say, "Brother, relax."
Bruh.
Garrett appears everywhere: the library, the campus, the cafeteria. At one point, I expected him to emerge from Hannah's refrigerator holding a hockey stick and asking about algebra. The man tracks her location better than Amazon tracks my packages. Yet somehow, it works. Because beneath the flirting, the sarcasm, and enough romantic tension to power the entire city of Las Vegas, the two begin developing genuine feelings. A shocking plot twist for a modern romance. Soon we encounter emotional baggage, personal insecurities, awkward conversations, and communication skills only slightly better than Hamlet's. Which is unfortunate, because Hamlet once spent 5 acts avoiding a simple conversation. And thus begins Off Campus, a tale where a hockey player seeks tutoring, finds love, and accidentally discovers that emotional maturity is harder than passing exams. Now let us discuss the characters, or as I call them, the Avengers of poor romantic decisions. First, Garrett Graham. Imagine if a golden retriever, a Nike commercial, and Captain America were merged into one human being. This man pursues Hannah with the determination of Amazon trying to sell me Prime membership. Romeo saw Juliet once and lost his mind. Garrett saw Hannah once and launched a multi-season marketing campaign. Then we have Hannah, the only person on campus who appears to have downloaded the latest software update for her brain. She is essentially Hermione Granger trapped inside a Netflix romance. Everyone around her is generating chaos. She is generating solutions. Now Logan, the human equivalent of a sad country song. This man carries more emotional baggage than an airport carousel. If Hamlet had access to alcohol and hockey, you would get Logan. Ah yes, Dean, the walking TED Talk on overconfidence. Imagine if James Bond, Tony Stark, and a Red Bull addiction became roommates. Every time Dean enters a scene, the laws of common sense immediately resign. Then there is Allie, a woman somehow functioning normally despite being surrounded by these people. She has the patience of a kindergarten teacher supervising 6 caffeinated raccoons. Frankly, she deserves hazard pay. And finally, the friend group. Imagine if Friends, Euphoria, and a group chat at 2 a.m. had a child. Every episode, someone falls in love, someone creates drama, someone needs therapy, and someone definitely should not have sent that text. I have written kings, queens, ghosts, witches, and murderers. Yet somehow these university students create more chaos than all of them combined. So what is my verdict on Off Campus? In my age, Romeo met Juliet, exchanged a few words, and married within 3 days. An absolutely terrible decision. In your age, people text for 6 months, become a situationship, create 17 misunderstandings, break up twice, reunite 3 times, and still refuse to define the relationship. Progress is a fascinating thing. Yet after all these centuries, I have discovered something remarkable. The technology has changed, the language has changed, the hairstyles have certainly changed. But people remain exactly the same. Romeo chased Juliet, Garrett chased Hannah, Hamlet struggled to communicate, Logan struggled to communicate, and mankind continues to confuse emotional chaos with romance. Therefore, I award Off Campus 4.5 hockey sticks out of 5. A delightful mixture of romance, comedy, emotional damage, and poor decision-making, just as the great literary tradition intended. I have been William Shakespeare. If thou enjoyed this review, strike the like button with the force of a hockey check. Subscribe, lest I return with Macbeth and force him to review reality television. And tell me in the comments, which off-campus character would survive one of my tragedies? The answer is probably none of them. Farewell, good people, and remember, never trust a situationship written by someone who says, "We'll see where it goes."